Race cars can be extremely dangerous. It's getting hot. And that's why we're gonna do everything we can to keep Andrew safe. But before we get to this, let me catch you up. This is Andrew's M340i, which formerly had 1,151 horsepower to the wheels and ran an 8.6 quarter mile. But as happens with race cars, our last track day took a turn for the worse as he lifted his head, spilling coolant everywhere, sending him down the track sideways. Thankfully, he was able to regain control of the vehicle and bring it to a safe stop. But instead of accepting defeat, we're back with Andrew's M340i for round 2. We started by making it faster. We made it lighter. We made it stop. And today, we gotta protect Andrew. Now, when you're building a race car, one of the most important things you can do is incorporate proper safety.
So if you've been following the build series, you know that we had this custom cage put in. This is a 1 5/8 inch chromoly cage. Chromoly is great for corrosion resistance as well as being stronger and lighter than mild steel. It's also going to provide some mounting points for some of our other safety equipment, including our 6-point harness. So now the harness we're going to be using today is a Sparco 3-inch wide harness that converts down to 2 inches so that it can be used properly with a Hans device and fit a little bit better. They are compatible with both, but it does hang over the lips that it's meant to sit within. Now this belt is going to spread out the pressure over 6 different points of contact versus the 3 that you'd see with the conventional seat belt. So the benefit of 5 and 6-point harnesses is there's a submarine belt that runs down between your legs and prevents you from sliding forward in case of a head-on accident where you may slip through underneath of the belt towards the firewall. With that said, let's install and test fit the harness.
If you're looking to get serious about safety, be sure to visit us at Kies.com, where we have everything you need to go fast, stay safe, and we have all the tools you need to get the job done. All right, now that the harness is fully installed, it's time to install our fire suppression system and our kill switch. But before I do that, I need to fully install the factory dash because this is where I'm going to mount all of those critical buttons to give him super easy access. But it's a bit of a problem. As you may have noticed, I now have the added challenge of a roll cage that's welded into the car that's gonna basically come down in this general area on both sides. But I don't know exactly where it sits, and I don't even know if this is gonna be possible. So let's see if there's a way that we can modify this to reinstall it back in the car.
So we figured the dash wouldn't fit with the roll cage, but we went ahead, tested it anyway, and clearly we're gonna have to make some modifications. So what we need now is a reference point on where to make our cuts so that we can get the dash around the cage. All right, so we've got 4 inches over here from the center of the mounting point to the center of the cage. Let's check it out for your side.
Maybe like 4 1/8.
All right.
I can't get in at all. Like, I don't want to crease your dash.
The hard part is you can't tilt it or angle it.
It definitely needs more material cut away.
Oh, look at that. Would you look at? Oh, so close.
All right, we've made alteration after alteration after alteration after alteration, trying to get his dash to fit in the car, but it's still not really working. We have the top pretty good, but the problem is one of the bars is basically going to come out through here, and then the other one is gonna come out like here, which we weren't really planning on. So I was going to just remove the glove box, but unlike the F series where they're just screwed in, the G series are plastic welded in. So we got out the Dremel. Let's see if we can get this glove box out.
Final test fit.
The test fit before the test fit.
What?
Yeah, we gotta take more material out.
Right, it looks like Boeing.
Yeah.
Look at it.
It's just floating.
We're gonna have to pull it out again.
For the final dash fitting.
All right, so after a lot of modification and lots of test fitting, we were able to get the dash installed. As you can imagine, we did have to cut around the bars and we did have to get creative, especially on the other side where we even had to do things like get rid of the glove box. So now that we know it fits, let's finish installing it. At this point, we have the dash fully installed, and while we were there, we installed his center console to really make this feel like an actual car again and not just a gutted race car. Now, our next mod is actually right in front of me. As you can start to see, this area is starting to feel very confined, especially with the roll bar, the high bolstering, and this giant steering wheel that does not remove. So in the event of an emergency, he's going to unlock his seatbelt, which is quick and easy, but then he has to pop his door open and navigate through this small hole just like that. Add in your adrenaline pumping, maybe there's a fire in the car, maybe you're injured. It just gets increasingly more difficult, especially if you're in a situation where someone has to pull you out of the car.
And that's why we'll be installing this Zestec hub and steering wheel into the car. So the steering wheel is a 330 millimeter steering wheel that's completely made out of carbon. It's super lightweight and it's about an inch smaller in diameter than the factory wheel. That will bolt directly up to the center here on this hub. Now the hub retains full OEM functionality, but it does come with additional features. So all of these buttons are programmable to the color that you'd like. There's also custom features that you can put onto the buttons, and it includes magnetic paddle shifters. Now this unit also is really important for us on the build because it has a quick release steering wheel that will allow us to get in and out of the vehicle quickly and safely in case of emergency. Now let's get it installed.
Our Zestec wheel assembly is fully installed in the car. It was super easy to do. To use the wheel, all you need to do is just pop it on like that. There's a quick release in the back and you can get the steering wheel out of the way. Now, in the event of a situation to kind of replay what we did earlier, all you need to do, one flick of a switch, your belt is off. Then you can just reach in here, get this out of the way. In an emergency, you can just throw it. And then you have all this room to safely escape the car. All right, let's recap our safety efforts thus far. We have a carbon fiber seat and a 6-point harness in case of an impact. In case of a rollover, we have a roll cage. To help him exit the car quickly, we have a quick release Zestec wheel. To make sure that the vehicle stops as a redundant measure, we have this parachute that we installed in the last video. But what do you do if there is a fire? Your fuel pumps are continuing to pump fuel on the flames, or maybe you have a situation where you just physically can't turn your car off and you are barreling down the track at 200 miles an hour. Well, that's where the kill switch comes in. What this does, very similar to a circuit breaker in your house, is it literally kills all power by the flip of a switch that's easily accessed by the driver. So this way, if the car is out of control or your fuel pumps are continuing to pump fuel on a fire, you can kill all of that with ease. With that, let's throw it in. All right, so at this point, the kill switch is fully installed and operational. The next thing we're going to do is going to be under the hood for the fire suppression system, but it's not as easy as it should be. Let me show you why. To install a fire suppression system, you're going to have the main agent bottle in the vehicle with you, and then you're going to have these hard lines routed throughout the vehicle, especially in areas like around the engine bay. But as you can see, the engine bay is still very much dismantled, and critical pieces like this brace here that goes across the front are absolutely needed to be final mounted before I route all of those hard lines. But I can't do that until I install the radiator, the fan, hook up a bunch of coolant lines, especially these ones over here that don't go anywhere because we deleted the air conditioning system. So now I have to rework some of the plumbing before I can even get to that. Now, while we're on the topic of coolant, we're also going to be installing one of the most critical engine safety components on the market, this little guy right here. Now, if Andrew had this on his last build, his motor would probably still be in this car and fully functional today.
Oh, no. Yeah.
You got a lake in here, bro. What this is a coolant pressure sensor adapter. You take a coolant pressure sensor, you tie it into here with the proper supporting hardware and electronics, and what this will do is if your coolant pressure gets outside of a specified target range, what's gonna happen is your car's gonna shut off. In Andrew's situation, the coolant pressure was going up and up and up until he had a catastrophic failure, spilling coolant all over the track. He ran over the coolant and it spun the car sideways. What this would have done is as the pressure would have gone up, the car would have shut down. And the result is that it can save your car and you. All right, so with that, we have a ton to do, so let's get back to work.
So as you just saw, Brian was up late last night finishing up a bunch of the things that we needed to do for today's install. So this included doing an oil pressure regulator that we picked up from TurboSmart. This is a returnless oil pressure regulator that keeps the pressure between 40 and 50 PSI. Now these turbos, if they get too much oil, it'll start to smoke. You'll notice that in a lot of the single turbo cars, there'll be some smoke coming out of the back. That's from the oil being pressed through the seals. Once that was all wrapped up, we were able to get the radiator and this top bracket, which we're gonna need to mount the fire suppression system, all set up. Now the Sparco 425 fire suppression system that we're gonna be using today is going to be mounted, at least the tank, right behind where the passenger seat would be. From that tank, we're gonna run hard lines up to the front where we're gonna have nozzles that'll spray into several key locations in the engine bay to put out any potential fires. Now there's two typical ways to trigger the fire suppression systems. One is literally just a pull cord. The other is what we went for, and that is an electronic trigger system. And because Brian was able to get all of the prep work out of the way, we're gonna go ahead and get started mounting the system.
right, at this point, our fire suppression system is fully installed. As you can see, we use this nice metal line that came included with the Sparco kit. It goes around the entire engine bay. Again, one of the reasons I had to put the entire front of the car back together. Before we could do this, we have all of the nozzles pointed at critical locations, especially where there could be fuel leaks or fuel fires, things of that nature. We also have 3 additional nozzles in the car. We have one aimed towards the passenger's footwell, one aimed towards Andrew's footwell, and we even put one in the back. Now on this car, he does run methanol injection. Methanol is extremely flammable and it burns totally clear, which makes it super dangerous. So we have a nozzle pointed towards that and the general battery area in case there was a fire, to cover basically everything from bumper to bumper. Now, in addition to all of this safety that we've implemented into Andrew's car, there's also things that he can be wearing to make sure that he stays safe as well.
As you can see laid out in front of me, we have a number of different items. All of these items help with safety and can assist in some way. So now we can break all these products down into 3 separate categories. We have direct and indirect impact protection, as well as fire safety. So first up, for direct impact protection, we have the helmet. The helmet is going to be the most important and main thing that you will need to get on just about any track, whether it's drag racing, road racing, drifting, and it is an essential component to prevent direct injury to your head in case of an accident. One thing to consider when you're looking at purchasing a helmet, some of these helmets are specifically for racing, some of them are specifically for motorcycles, and many tracks won't let you on if you have a motorcycle helmet. And the next thing to look for is the Snell certification. Now, Snell certifications are good for a 10-year window from the year that is on the sticker inside the helmet. If you buy a 2020 helmet right now, it's only going to be good until 2030, making it good for only 5 years versus the maximum time window of 10. So when you go to purchase a helmet, it'd be wise to look and see what the certification date is. And if you're looking to buy a helmet sometime soon, these are usually released in October, and it's coming out this year for the new cycle of certification. Now, for indirect impact protection, the main thing that we're trying to prevent is whiplash events. Typically, these can just cause milder injuries like bulging discs, strained muscles, but they can also prevent loss of life. Now, these items are fitted underneath of a 5 or 6-point harness. They go around the shoulders and they are sold at multiple angles depending on your seat height. Now, these clips will buckle onto the side of the helmet that you see here, so that in the event that you suddenly have to stop, your head does not go flying forward and you don't break your neck. While the Hans is the best option for 5 and 6-point harnesses and also typically the lightest weight, another option for those of us that don't have 5 and 6-point harnesses is the Hans Hybrid. Now, this actually buckles onto your chest so that you don't need the shoulder straps of a 5 or 6-point harness to hold it on. And once you have it wrapped around your chest, you secure the anchors to the posts on the helmet, just like you would with the Hans, preventing your head from whipping forward. Lastly, but also important, we have our jacket and pants that we're wearing. This can be purchased as a single piece suit that zips up as well. Now, these items are multi-layered material that's designed to increase the amount of time before you get burned. In addition to the pants and the jacket, we have the fireproof shoes and socks. These are highly important because they are both on your feet, which is closest to the engine compartment and the most susceptible to heat. Now, for the shoes, these are made to be comfortable while racing. They're a nice flexible sole that's thin so you can feel the pedals well, but they are fire retardant all the way down to the shoelaces. So for the gloves, they're designed to be fire retardant. You can purchase these in all different levels of SFI ratings, but one of the other nice features is that they have a rubber grip on the inside of the palm and fingers to make sure the wheel doesn't slip out of your hand. With all of these personal protection items that we're going to be running, as well as the mods that we did to the car, we should be as safe as we possibly can be at the track.
So far, we've made this car faster. We've made it lighter. We made it safer. But now it's time to make it run.